Welcome to Are You Hungry's Week 1 projections. A little late, but hey, I haven't watched the second half of the game. I don't really know what's going on. I've done this video 5 times, and for whatever reason, I can't upload it, so I'm going to try it again now. Who knows? See how it goes. Like I said in the preseason projections, a lot of parity in the league, so we're going to have great matchups throughout the season. And Week 1's first matchup is not one of those. We got Coolio versus the Hitmen. Essentially Jamal Charles versus Drew Brees with a sprinkling of Julian Edelman thrown in there. And I think Edelman's going to have a huge game and a huge season if he can stay healthy. Therefore, I'm going to go with Coolio, 104-98. I've done this 6 times, and every time the scores come out different, but that's fine. Inso facto, as Mike D would say. Second matchup we have here is the Pocket Dogs versus Magoo. Basically throwing Monty Ball up against a Week 1 juggernaut. LaShawn McCoy, I got Jordy Nelson, and Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's going to be involved in a big shootout with New Orleans. I know New Orleans defense is going to be pretty good this year. So, RG3, not so good this year. Maybe, we'll see, who knows. Week 1's always a feeling out process. So I'm going to go with the Pocket Dogs here. And we're going to put him at 114 and me at 101. Magoo starts the season at 0-1 yet again. I tried to pick up Carson Palmer, side note. And I went to the computer and I was going to have a big free agent acquisition. And Fugazi fucking Calamari rained on my parade. Rain! County Crows are on Kelly and Michael today. That guy is one fucking freakazoid, I'll tell you that. Alright, next matchup we've got is Moo Moo Marshmallow's man, versus Moose. And this is kind of flip-flop for me. I love Luck in the matchup with Denver. Gonna be a shootout. Way over Foles. I think Foles is gonna be terribly overrated this year. I think Demaryius Thomas is gonna be a huge day with the shootout. Denver and Indianapolis. Jones also gonna be involved in a shootout. Julius. Hopefully he stays healthy this year. And then we got Graham. I mean, the guy is just the class of the tight ends going up against Atlanta's terrible defense. But I think what this is going to come down to is Gio and Zach do enough against Moose's no running backs. And Moo Moo starts off 1-0 with a 123-119 victory. Fourth matchup, we got Tidal Wave and Fugazi Calamari, the new guys, coming pretty strong. Stafford versus Colin Kaepernick in this matchup. The big difference here is going to be the New York Giant defense sucks a little bit less than the Dallas Cowboy defense. Colin's going to have a big day throwing the ball, putting his preseason woes behind him. I think the Giants surprise some people and keep the matchup close. Stafford's going to make a couple mistakes. I'm high on A.J. Green. I'm low on Andre Johnson. I'm going to give the nod to Jindarno. 131-127 in a close one. Matchup number 5. It was tough to pick who's going to be the matchup of the week, but I went with this one. Zygo at HTU It's an interesting matchup. I didn't realize during draft day that we had in the season opener Thursday night, we got Aaron Rodgers and Eddie Lacy on Zygote versus Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch from HTU. Who would have known? I think it's going to be a great matchup. It's going on right now. I don't really... Did Marshawn Lynch? Yeah, Marshawn Lynch scored a touchdown earlier. Obviously gives him the advantage there. Seattle's defense, I think, maybe has some question marks. See what happens in the second half. They look pretty good in the first half, though. What I think this matchup comes down to, though, is going to be the tight ends. Julius Thomas versus Vernon Davis. Both have really strong matchups against their position. And shockingly, my gut is telling me that Vernon Davis is going to have a huge day in San Francisco versus Dallas. Maybe they play in Dallas. Whatever. Huge day for San Francisco. Julius is also going to have a good day, but I think that game, again, is going to be dominated by Demaryius Thomas, and that's why I picked Moo to win. So I'm going to go with HTU in this one. Starting off strong once again. By the way, I still didn't check on your check, and I will tomorrow, I promise. Maybe Saturday, probably Saturday, but I'll get back to you on that. I'm going to go with HTU. 124. It's going to be close to 121. Closest matchup of the week. Finally, we have Chips McCray at Peachy. Peachy didn't show up for the draft. I'm going to make that a point to continually discuss that we drafted for him, and he wasn't at the draft, so we drafted his team because he wasn't at the draft. Next year, the draft will be either the second or third week in August. Maybe take the whole month off like the Europeans, and maybe we'll go to Miami for the draft, and you should probably be off if we go to Miami for the draft in the second or the third week. You weren't at the draft this year. So, second or third week, everybody. Plan to, everyone makes a great effort. It's always a great time. Unless you're having your face smashed in. And you can't go to the draft. Make sure your eye doesn't explode. So, yeah, that's when the draft is. Let's get back to the matchup there. Manning and Martin, I feel like I'm going to talk about that a lot this year. I think other people are going to talk about that a lot. It's a really strong 1-2 punch. Going to be a pretty productive offense down there in Buccaneer land. I think they're going to surprise some people. And while I do love Dez and Roddy White a lot this year, I think the difference in this game is going to be the Bucs versus Carolina. Bucs on Peachy squad, Carolina on McCray squad. They play each other in week 1 also. And I think the Bucs D is going to surprise some people this year. Also, Lovie Smith comes in. He changes defenses. He did it with Chicago. He's going to do it with the Bucs. This game is going to be dominated by Peach. He's going to win by 20, 140 to 120. That's pretty much all I have this week. Alex, you know I love you. And I am not as funny in my great tirades about you not being at the draft, which is fine. You're saving people. I still love you. I love all you guys. That's all I have for this week. Thanks for spending thanks for spending some time with me. And hopefully this one goes through, because I'm not going to do it again. Otherwise, I'm going to write it like old school. All right. Great talking to you guys, and good luck this week. We'll check in sometime later on. And Coolio, you are up on week 2. Have a good night, or good morning, or good day, whenever you read this. Greg will probably be up pretty early, and Jeff. And I hope Alex has some full-bodied Cuban on his face. Notice how I didn't specify gender. Non-gender specific. Kind of like Chris D. You thought I was going to say Alex, but I didn't. I'm just kidding. Love you guys. All right. Later.